Welcome back to the F&CK podcast. I am going to share something that I love saying all the time in our community, which is fuck it is just not an option. What do you do when you want to say fuck it or when you feel like you fucked up? Yeah, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs today. So just earmuff your kids if you're listening to this with your kids. So what happens when you fuck up, when you just, I don't know, you go out for dinner with your friends and you go to town. You're going to town on the alcohol, the food, everything. You're staying up late and you're like, I fucked up. Here's a thought, and this is what I always say to our clients. Fuck it is just not an option. And if you're a parent, let me just kind of give you an example. How many times as parents do we fuck up? Do we fail? Do we do stuff that we're learning? I use this example a lot. When my daughter was born and she was, I don't know, a couple months old, I mean, I can't be alone in doing this. I didn't have my hand on her when I was changing her diaper and she was on the change table and she rolled right off. Okay, so there we go. I said it. Chances are, if you're a parent, you've done this at some point too, and you've learned your lesson. So at the time, we lived in our old house and everything was hardwood, and she fell right on her head on the hardwood floor. And I freaked out because she got this like welt that came out of her forehead. And I was so embarrassed that I was that stupid mom that let that happen. And I felt so much guilt and shame around that. And, I didn't say fuck it and I'm done parenting. And now here we are 16 years later. And I'm still doing, I think, pretty okay. But I remember taking her to the doctor. It was a walk-in actually at the time. And it was like a really it was an older gentleman who was the doctor. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to yell at me. He's going to yell at me. I'm like 30 years old and, here I am with my baby with this big welt on her head. And he takes one look at me and I'm ready for it. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says to me, I have 3 girls and I did the same thing. So he just saw that I was, sitting in my own shame and my own guilt and my own fuck up. And he kind of gave me permission that it was okay, that we were going to be okay. Because saying fuck it is just not an option when it comes to parenting. And how many times do we repeatedly fail as parents and then we learn our lessons so that we can become better? Hopefully you fall into that category. I say parenting is always the hardest job because we don't have that feedback, right? So it is the same thing when it comes to your nutrition and especially coming to your physique and changing it in perimenopause and menopause, because you've never been in this phase of life before. You've never had hormones fluctuating the way you've had. You've never probably felt worse. Most women will tell me that they are the heaviest weight they've been, even when they were pregnant. And if you haven't been there before, let me tell you, that is scary as fuck. If there's ever a time to say fuck it, it's when your weight hit a number that you were when you were pregnant, except there's no baby in there. All right. So if you're feeling that right now, I've got you. I see you. That's exactly what we do and how we can help you. But fuck it is just not an option. And I want you to think about my analogy of my little baby girl falling off that change table. And I did not say fuck it. I just learned from that and realized I need to be better at supervising when I change her diaper. So when you are out with friends and you are thinking, okay, fuck it, I'm just going for it, you have to remember that is just not an option, because in the morning, you have to wake up and do it again. You have to parent again. You have to be a human again. You have to be in this body again. And what are you telling your future self if your present self is always saying, fuck it, it's not important enough? Imagine if I didn't learn my lesson with my daughter and I kept letting her fall off the change table. What kind of lesson would I be teaching myself and my daughter? What would she think about herself growing up, and how would I feel as a parent growing up? I would have said, fuck it. That would have been it. And she would have grown up with that mentality too. And that's not why we're here. We're here to become that 2.0 version, that best version of ourselves. And so I want you to remember that at any given time, you cannot say, fuck it. Just like if you were, I don't know, let's just say you had the worst day, okay, at work. I don't know, fucking Karen is driving you crazy. You realize that, you might be let go soon, whatever it is. You just had a shit day and you're in the highway on the way home. If you're in Toronto, you get stuck on the 401. You're always stuck on the 401 because Toronto traffic sucks. But let's say you get a flat tire. All right, you're just gonna like get out of your car and say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna slash all the tires and then take a big wrench and throw it through my windshield too while I'm at it." Just fuck it. Or are you gonna like call CAA roadside assistance and be like, I need to change my tire? Or are you gonna fix that tire yourself and then go about your day? Yeah, it's gonna slow you down. 100% having a flat tire is going to slow you down. You're not gonna get home at the time you thought you were gonna get home. You might have to take your car in for service. You might have to have a rental car. You might have to take the bus home or an Uber home. You might have to pay for that out of pocket, and that's going to suck for a little bit. But guess what? You're going to get your car back, and you're going to drive, and you're going to get back on the 401 and go back to work the next day or whenever your car is ready. Why? Because you're not going to slash all your tires and throw a wrench through your windshield to prove a point. So why would you do that for anything else when it comes to you, when it comes to your physique, when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to your exercise, when you're like, you know what? How many times did we do this in COVID? You're like, fuck it. Gyms are closed. I'm not going to do it anymore. I can promise you that is not what I thought when everything was closing. In fact, I was the last person at the gym. It closed at 11. I was there till 10:45. And on the way home, the day that the world shut down, I remember stopping for cough medicine 100% because I was like, I'm going to buy out Shoppers cough medicine for my kids. And then I went on Amazon and bought all the home equipment I needed for my basement gym because I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to get to a gym for I don't know how long, and I'm not going to let that stop me from getting my workouts in. That was my mindset. But I could have easily said, fuck it, forget working out for the rest of my life. All right. If you're really tired and you don't brush your teeth one night, are you going to be like, fuck it, I'm just never going to brush my teeth again? Sorry, oral hygiene. I don't care. Sorry, teeth. I didn't need you anyways. You wouldn't think like that. You would likely realize that there's still a lot that you can do and there's a lot that you can control. So when you go into that mindset, which I know you're going to go into because I've been there too, and you are just thinking, fuck it, just fuck it. I want you to remember that I told you right in the eye that that is just not an option. You, my girl, can absolutely do better. I hope that this resonated with you, and I'd love to hear a little bit about when you say fuck it, what are you going to say to yourself next time? Because you know what's going to happen. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to get better. So love to hear from you. Let me know how this lands. You can go and reach me on Instagram, Functionally Fit with Elise, or Facebook as well, or you can check out my website, functionallyfitwithelise.com. I got a lot of freebies on there, and I'd love for you to grab one and let me know how that lands with you. But thank you for joining me today. And as a reminder, the information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare professionals with any questions you have regarding a medical condition or health-related goal.